right. So we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. I'm Officer 5000, Mataza Pa. I will be holding down tonight's class. We'll be going into the second half of Esther. All right, the second half of a story of this bad sister named Esther, okay? Mariah, what you got going on? Go downstairs and use the bathroom. You know where it's at. He don't need nobody, all right? Yeah, all right. So yesterday we started off with Esther, right? Does anybody remember what Purim means?
You said Purim?
Purim. Or per.
I don't think I was up here. I was running the Shamar thing from downstairs for a second, so I might not have been up here when you said it.
No sweat. You remember what it means? Lot, right? Per is the lot that, remember, Haman had cast on the people, on the Jews, right?
Right.
And so Purim is just a plural version of saying per. All right.
So you're saying casting lots?
Yeah.
Do you consider dice would be called casting per, or?
That's a good question. That's a good question right there too. That's a good question.
But am I like following you that?
Because that's how, it's like shaking up dice. That's how that's how you cast them, I'll find out. I'll definitely find that out for you because I want to know myself with the dice. But you remember what chapter we stopped in?
I believe you said, what was it?
5. You remember what happened yesterday? You remember? So you remember what Esther's cousin's name was? Mordecai. Yeah. So Mordecai is the man. We're going to finish reading about Mordecai and Esther today. We're going to start in chapter 5. All right. Give me 1 second. Hey, shalom to y'all that's in the class right now. Your choir just starting paint. Just give me 1 second, and I'm getting to where I need to get to. Okay. All right. Oh, he ain't playing. Chapter 5 and verse 1. The book of Esther. I always see the mini version of that. When she pull up the class, she always had a mini version with a cup and a lemon, or a cup and a lime. That's funny. Esther chapter 5 and verse 1. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Count out of one kind. The book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 1. Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house. Right.
So remember where we left off at was Haman had just cast lots on the Jews, right?
Right.
And so Mordecai, everybody's like worrying about what's going on or what's going to happen, right? Our fate. And so Mordecai and Esther just got finished corresponding with each other, right? And they were like, Mordecai was telling Esther what was going on and what happened. And so he's like, well, I need you to go into the king's gate, to the king's court, and talk to the king. And she's like, well, that if you go into the king's court and you wasn't summoned in there, if he didn't call you, then you'll get put to death, right? And so he's like, well, do it anyway, right? Do it because the fate of Israel depends on this, and don't think that you're going to be safe inside the king's house while we all die, right? And so this is where she is putting on the apparel so that she can go in to talk to the king. All right, could you read verse 1 more time?
Kind out of one kind. So like it, sir, Mordecai was Esther's uncle, right?
Cousin.
Cousin?
Yeah, he's the it's his uncle's daughter.
Kind out of one kind.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel.
Right, because remember she told them to fast for 3 days, all right, and she was going to do the same thing. Go ahead.
That Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house, over against the gate of the house.
Right. So now she's about to go in. Go ahead.
And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight.
Right. Remember what the scriptures say about how beautiful the sister was. Not only did it say that that she was fair, to look upon, it said that she was beautiful as well. So when she goes in there to talk to the king, if it was anybody, any old ordinary person, they off with your head. But because of who it was, this bad Israelite sister, she found favor in his sight. You need to go down.
Yeah, I don't want this down there.
They don't. You don't got a drone, or you don't got something where you can see.
He has a drone down there. I'm gonna just see if he can.
Yeah. No sweat. No sweat. And so, where's that? So verse 2, right? I'll read verse 2 myself. And it says, and it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. All right. So since she found favor in the sight of the king, he held out the scepter, accepting Esther. Esther comes, she touches the scepter, and then so now she gets to talk to the king. Verse 3. What's going on, brother, man? Good to see you, man. What's going on, sis? How you doing? Where Tim at?
He's with my dad.
Oh, okay.
Taking care of her.
Oh, no sweat. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So we had Esther and we had verse 3. I'm not sure if you got a Blue Letter Bible or some type of Bible app, or we got extra Bibles over here for you too if you need it. All right, so I just left off where the king just accepted. She just found favor in the sight of the king. He held out the scepter. She touched the scepter. And then so now she can speak with the king. Verse 3.
Verse 3. Then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? It shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom. Right.
So because she found so much favor in the sight of the king.
Right.
He don't even know what she want right now.
Right.
He just like, just whatever you want, I'll give you whatever you want, even up to half the kingdom. You know how who else said that before? I heard that before. Hey, who was it?
Hera said it to
Hey, get that sister ahead, man. Hey, she be studying. That also was said. That's how you know how heavy that statement is when the king makes that statement. Like, I'll give you whatever you want, up to half of the kingdom. Remember when it was, I think it was Hera's birthday party, and the girls, they was, they was dancing or something was going on. And then the girl asked, or Hera said, yo, what do you want? I'll give you up to half the kingdom. And she said, John the Baptist's head on the platter, on the little John. And they ended up beheading John the Baptist because he promised her up to half the kingdom. So that's pretty much saying whatever you want right now, whatever you about to ask for, let's go. You got it, Kana.
When I read the story, I was confused because I thought it was to his wife. It turns out he was offering that to the daughter.
It was the daughter.
The dad.
Yup.
So I was confused. Was he trying to lay with her? I didn't understand how.
Was he trying to? I don't think he was trying to. Was he trying to lay with her? I don't think it did. It didn't say that he was trying to lay with her, right? But he did do the favor for the. It was for the daughter, for the mom, if I'm not mistaken. Oh wait, and he promised her up to half the kingdom, and John the Baptist's head was on a tray. And so that's what. So the king right here, he promised Esther up to half the kingdom, whatever you want. Read on.
Verse 4. And Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him.
Right. If it seems good for the king, let you and Haman, right, your top dude, let y'all come to a banquet that I prepared for you. And then I just wanted to another thing, right? Just to further put Haman and his people in the dirt. You know that Haman is a Amalekite. Y'all know that, right? That Haman is a Amalekite. And do you know that when Amalek was in Babylon, what did they write when they was in Babylon?
You said, what did they write?
Yeah, what did they produce when they was in Babylon, the Edomites?
I don't know. Oh,
The Talmud.
Oh, wow.
The Babylonian Talmud. The Babylonian Talmud is like a horrible piece of work that these pieces of garbage that comes from them. It don't come from Israelites. It comes from their people. You feel me? And inside of like this book is so horrible, right? This book drives that religion that they have, right? Is this the one that has the? Does she you know what page that one is? This the one I got this from over there. Is this the one that had the 3-year-old in there?
I'm not sure, sir.
Oh, you might have grabbed her. This the one you got from the school, right?
Sir.
I wonder if this was the right one. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I just wanted to show y'all something. Y'all bear with me 1 second. 1 second. I got you. All right, I want you to read something right here, right? I want you to read something. I want to show y'all how horrible these people are. All right. So I think it's this one first. All right. I'm a sidebar real quick, y'all. This is called the Babylonian Talmud. So we're reading about, Haman. That was the main enemy, public enemy number 1 of the Jews at this time in the book of Esther, right? And so his people, which are Amalek, when they were in, or just Esau period, when they were in Babylon, they came up with this religious book called the Babylonian Talmud. And I just wanted to show y'all something that's in this book right here, right?
The first star?
Yeah. I want to show y'all how horrible this book is.
Okay, so this is the Talmud. And it is, let me see. Nada 44b, is that what that is?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so Mishnah.
Yeah, the Mishnah.
A girl of the age of 3 years old in 1 day may be betrothed.
What? What does betrothed mean?
Engaged.
A girl, what?
May be betrothed.
And when they talk about now, mind you, right? These are the people that's masquerading around saying that they are you, right? They are saying that they are the Israelites. They are the Jews. The land of Israel belongs to them. That they're God's chosen people. Meanwhile, they don't read this book. They don't read this. All the rabbis are learned in this book right here. Right? All rabbis are learned in this book right here. So whenever you hear them starting to talk about the law or the Old Testament or anything, it's what they call supposedly the oral law, which is a bunch of crap that they wrote down, right? That has nothing to do with this. But I just wanted to show you how horrible these people are. Right. Read that one more time from the top, man.
This is Nida 44b, Mishnah. A girl of the age of 3 years and 1 day may be betrothed
Read on.
by intercourse.
Talk to me, man. Now, look. Right now, these are the people that have a big hand in how America runs. So when we see the transgenderism, when we see, pedophilia and things of that nature, where do you think it's coming from? It's coming from religious text. Go ahead.
You want me to?
Any more on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's got.
Because remember how the Talmud goes, right? They have the Mishnah, they have the Gemara, and then they have what the rabbis do is they have conversations about what was written, right? And so it's almost like they're debating it. So I wanted you to read the part where they was debating it too, to give that rationale for doing it.
All right, I'll keep reading this and then the one below it as well.
Okay, if you see something else, go ahead.
It says, if the Yabam had intercourse with her, he acquires her thereby.
Come here, you get. Let me bring that to me. So, if the rabbi has sex with her, then he acquired her. Wow, we're talking about 3-year-olds here. Because there's one more part. Oh. This is the explanation for it. Look at the explanation for why here. This is the explanation. I think both of these. I think that's the same thing. And then you can read that. And I'm moving on. Listen to the explanation for why they say it's allowed. I don't even understand the explanation, but maybe y'all can help me with it.
The explanation says, if one was younger than this age, intercourse with her is like putting a finger in the eye.
What the hell does that mean? Somebody tell me what that means. And how does that justify pedophilia? It makes no sense. It don't even make sense. But that's the justification. Yeah, you could jump over.
All right. So the explanation of the finger in the eye. If one was younger than this age, intercourse with her is like putting the finger in the eye. What need was there to state like putting a finger in the eye instead of merely saying if one was younger than this age, intercourse with her is of no consequence?
Of no consequence, man. That's pretty much what it's saying. Putting a finger in the eye is just saying that having sex with somebody under that age is just no consequence to it. Wow. That's who we dealing with. That's the people who, congratulations. That's who you're dealing with. Right. All right, let's go back to this. That was a sidebar, man. Y'all make sure, always remember that kind of stuff. That Tommy, always bring that stuff up in y'all classes whenever you see them people. So Queen Esther, she just went into the king, right? And she just said, please come to a banquet that I prepare for you and a banquet that I prepare for Haman, right? The Edomite. Go ahead. Verse 5.
Verse 5. Then the king said, cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther had said. Mm-hmm. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared.
Right. So she prepared the banquet. The king and Haman came. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. Mm-hmm. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. Right. Again, he's saying it again at the banquet. So what is your request, right? What do you really want? Tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you up to half of the kingdom. In verse 7. Go ahead. Verse 7. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them.
Right.
And I will do tomorrow as the king has said.
Right. So, okay. So she said it again. Like just hold on. Just, all right. If I found favor in your sight, just come to this other banquet that I got for you. I promise this time I'll tell you. Just you and Haman, y'all come to this other banquet. I got another one set up for you. I'll tell you there. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart.
Right. He happy. He's sitting up there with the king and the queen. Right. He think he's showing up hot. SHIT. And he's sitting up there and he happy, joyful, glad, just pumped, just like Edomites are. Right. He didn't do nothing to be excited about. Right. He didn't do nothing to be happy about or proud about. But yet he's happy and he's proud.
Right.
Go ahead.
But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself.
Right. And so, like, he's having this good old day, but just the sight of a nigga just ruined this whole day. Right. But you know what? I'm so much on this high horse. I'm a refrain myself.
Right.
I ain't gonna do nothing to you right now. Right. Even though I'm angry, I'm a refrain. So nevertheless, Haman refrained himself. Go ahead.
And when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife.
Right. So he called for his friends and his Edomite wife. Right. And what did they do? Go ahead.
And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children and all the things wherein the king had promoted him.
Right. So he's bragging. Right. He's talking about all the money that he got, all the kids that he got, and what else? And his promotion. Right. Go ahead.
And how he had advanced him above the princes and the servants of the king.
Right. Y'all remember that in like chapter 1 or 2, he advanced Haman above all the princes and everybody that was there. So Haman is the top dog next to the king. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself. Right.
And so remember, he wrote this, he cast the lots. He cast the lots for the Jews, right?
Right.
Because of Mordecai. He knew who Mordecai was and who his people was, but he never found out. He still don't know that Esther is. Right. He still don't know that Esther is a Jew because it doesn't say that he knew, right? That he knows. He's still happy that he's chilling with the king and Esther. Right. Go ahead.
Where was I? But myself. And tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king.
Right. And so he's still excited to be invited into her banquet with the king. Go ahead.
Yet all this was availeth me nothing.
Man, but all this happiness means nothing. Why? Go ahead.
So long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
Right. As long as I keep seeing this nigga's face every time I come past this gate, all my happiness means nothing.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
Then said Zeresh his wife and all his friends unto him.
Now let's see what this piece of garbage and all the rest of the piece of garbage is say. Their counsel towards him. Go ahead.
Let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high.
Let what?
A gallows be made of 50 cubits high.
Y'all know what a gallows is? Okay. What's a gallows?
It's where you hang.
Gallows made for hanging, right? Go ahead.
And tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon.
Right. So make this gallows, and then tomorrow use your power. Go and talk to the king. You know, you number 2 with him. You feel me? You his right hand man. Go talk to him, and then get him hung on the gallows. Right. And it's just so matter of fact. Just that was the plan. Just make the damn gallows. Just holler at the king and go. Just kill him. No talking to him. No trying to figure out. What's the problem between y'all? If you could rectify the problem, if you could rectify the problem, or anything, just make the damn gallows and hang them. That's Esau's solution.
Right.
Go ahead.
Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet, and the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made.
Right, like he's just gonna put up the gallows, get Mordecai hung, and then after he hang Mordecai, go in there to the banquet. Like nothing never happened. Wow, these people are that's crazy. Esther chapter 6 and verse 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 6, verse 1. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles.
Right. So imagine like you ever have a night where you can't sleep, like you might be tossing and turning. You don't know why you can't go to sleep, but maybe you close your eyes and you keep thinking about other stuff or something. Right. You're just not tired right now, right? So the king, he's not able to sleep. So what does he do? He just has the book of the chronicles, like their records. Bring me the records, man. Let me do something. Let me sit up. Let me just go over the records. Let me see what's going on. Read on.
And they were read before the king.
Right. And so the records, their records is being read before him, right? Go ahead.
And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bithana and Teresh.
Now, I don't know if y'all remember, and I think this was like the first chapter or second chapter, when Mordecai used to chill at the fence right at the gate. He heard of two of the king's chamberlains was conspiring to lay hands on the king, right, to get him and to kill him or unalive him, Salakia. And so Mordecai knew about this story. So what Mordecai did was Mordecai told the story to Esther, and Esther was able to tell the king for Mordecai. And because that happened, because they foiled the plot, the king hung the two dudes, and they wrote Mordecai's name in their book of the Chronicles. Go ahead.
The two of the king's chamberlains.
Right, those was the two dudes' names, Bigthana and Teresh. Go ahead.
The keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus.
Right. So and as it was written, or Salakia, it was written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And the king said, what honor and dignity hath been done to Mordecai for this?
All right, what have we done to compensate this man right here?
Right.
Well, whoever this man is that I'm reading about, what have we done? What honor, what dignity, what have we given him for this?
Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him.
Hey, compensate me when I do it, when it happens, man. Don't figure out, whenever you right, figure out that you ain't do nothing for me. So, but like, nevertheless, the chamberlains is like, man, we didn't do nothing for him.
That's crazy.
he foiled the plot to save your life. I mean, somebody was trying to end your life. Golly, you ain't do nothing.
Because Salaki, if I could, like doing something, that everybody would know about would motivate people to have the king's back and want to do the same thing. But they just did nothing for him. Like it just wasn't about nothing.
Like just,
king didn't even appreciate it almost.
Like, damn.
That's the way it was seen.
That's the way it seemed, right? But let's see how the king treats the fact that nothing was done for Mordecai. Go ahead.
And the king said, who is in the court?
Who's in the court right now? That's what he asking. They just said, well, we didn't do anything for him. Right. Okay. Well, who's in the court right now? Go ahead.
Now Haman was coming to the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows.
Right. So who do they see walking up? They see Mordecai. I mean, they see Haman. They see Haman walking up to pretty much execute the plan that his wife Zeresh and his friends had, told him the day before. The battery that they put in his back. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They put a battery in his back to go to the king to get Mordecai hung on them gallows.
Right.
So at this ain't that the Lord? At the same time, the king couldn't sleep. He's reading the book of the Chronicles. He reads about Mordecai. And then he's like, well, what did we do for him? Nothing. All right, well, who's in the court? Like I'm about to do something for him now. Who's in the court? And at the same time, Haman is walking up trying to get that same brother unalive.
Right.
That's the Lord right there,
Absolutely.
man.
Right.
You got it.
Damn right. Now Haman was coming to the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him.
Mm-hmm.
And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court.
Yeah, Haman out there. Go ahead.
And the king said, let him come in.
Mm-hmm. Come on in, Haman. Go ahead.
So Haman came in, and the king said unto him.
And remember, Haman is not privy to the conversation that the king was just having with his chamberlains. Go ahead. So
Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor?
Mm-hmm. What shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor, who the king wants to honor? What should be done to that man? Go ahead.
Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself?
Right. So that's just like so in his head, he like, well, damn, he trying to figure it out. Well, who else would he try to honor? Who would he try to delight and honor other than me? Right. So then that's just like, I know that I feel like you're talking to me. So then I start being like, yeah, I think you should give him $1 million, give him a jet. Right. You know what I'm saying? Pay his college tuition, all this, start naming all this good stuff. Go ahead.
And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighteth to honor.
What does Haman recommend? Go ahead.
Let the royal apparel be brought, which the king useth to wear.
Like bring it, put the clothes on his back that the king wears. I don't want my ass in nothing that you had on yours. Yeah, it's not. You can bring me something else that's like priestly king like, you know what I mean? But don't bring the one that the king uses. Anyway, Salagia. Let the royal apparel be brought, which the king useth to wear. Go ahead.
And the horse that the king rideth upon.
I mean, he wants everything that the king has.
Yeah.
Even the horse that the king ride on. The horse, the king probably got the most majestic horse in all of everywhere. And he want to ride that horse. Go ahead.
And the horse that the king rideth upon. And the crown royal, which is set upon his head.
Right. So you pretty much want to be the king. I want to wear what you wear. I want to ride the horse that you ride. And I want the crown that you wear. Go ahead. Huh?
King for that.
Who wait?
Verse 9. And let this apparel and the horse be delivered to the hand of the one of the king's most noble princes.
Mm-hmm. And then where you at? Say that one more time.
Salakia, verse 9.
Verse
and
9.
Let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal whom the king delighteth to honor. Right.
And he said, and let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes. Now, who's the top prince that who did the king make higher than all the princes there?
Him.
Come on. Go ahead.
The king, Salakia, and bring him on horseback through the street of the city and proclaim him before him.
Mm-hmm.
Thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor.
Ooh, wait, let's go.
Verse 10. Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew.
Hey, the one who, just ruins his day when he sees him. I hate your black skin. Like as soon as he see the black skin, he have a problem. But now everything that you just, all the deliciousness and all the stuff that you just said that this person should have, he wants you to take it to your enemy.
Right.
Go ahead.
That sitteth at the king's gate.
Mm-hmm.
Let nothing fail of all thou hast spoken.
That's funny.
Verse 11. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse and arrayed Mordecai and brought him on horseback through the street of the city and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor. The water says. Verse 12. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house mourning and having his head covered.
So when he came to the gate this time, Haman just couldn't stand it. He just ran home. He ran home. That's usually what Edomites do. You know what I mean? They just go home and cry about it. Right? Verse 13.
Verse 13. And Haman told Zeresh his wife and all his friends everything that had befallen him.
Right. So the same people that gave him the counsel the day prior, now he's coming back to him and telling them, what transpired that day. Go ahead.
Then said his wife, then said his wise men and Zeresh his wife unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews,
Mordecai is if he be of the seed of the Jews, go ahead.
Before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him.
Right, because remember, he's related to the Jews, but then he's just got damn near put over top of you. Right, so you're going to fall. You're going to fall if you continue to mess with him. Right, go ahead.
Before whom thou hast begun to fall.
Right, it says it says he's not going to prevail. Haman's not going to prevail against Mordecai, but shall surely fall before him. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains and hasted to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared.
Right. And while they were yet talking with them, came the king's chamberlains and hasted to bring Haman up to the banquet. So now it's time for this banquet. He thought he was going to go talk to the king, right? And then get Mordecai hung on the gallows before he went into this banquet.
Right.
But it didn't work out that way. He went and he had to go and show honor and reverence to Haman. Now he's going into the banquet. All right, verse 7.
The book of Esther, chapter 7, verse 1. So the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther, the queen. And the king said unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther?
Look, man, woman, what do you want? what is thy petition? Go ahead.
And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom.
Again, even to the half of the kingdom. Go ahead.
Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king.
If I found favor in your sight, king, and if it please you, read on.
Let my life be given me at my petition.
Oh, wait. Let my life be given me. Right. So imagine she's telling the king, who just loves the hell out of her, that, her life is in danger. And he's like, what she said? Hold on. I just missed my spot. So
let my life be given me.
What verse was that?
That's verse 3, sir.
3. Let my life be given me at my petition. Right. So she's saying, she's begging for her life, pretty much. Go ahead. Or not begging. Let me not say it like that. So like it.
And my people at my request.
Right. Let spare my life and spare my people's life. Go ahead.
For we are sold, and I and my people to be destroyed, to be slain and to perish.
Right, because Haman had cast those lots. Go ahead.
But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemies could not countervail the king's damage. Verse 5. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he and where is he?
Like, who is he? Who trying?
Right.
What? Who trying to unalive you, Esther? Who and where is he? Go ahead.
Who is he, and where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so?
And mind you, she just was granted half the kingdom. I'll give you half the kingdom. And she said, like, my life is in danger and my people's life is in danger. He like, what? Who? Where is he? Where's this man at? You know what I mean? Guess what? Sitting right there across from you. Go ahead.
And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is
the who?
The adversary.
The who?
The adversary.
Give me 1 second. Give me hold that spot. Give me 1 Peter 5:8 real quick.
1 Peter 5:8. Count out of one count.
Real quick. I know I'm pushing it for the time, but Salakia.
Count out of one count. Bear with me.
First Peter 5:8.
All right, the book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8.
Right, because Haman was called a what?
Adversary.
He was called an adversary. Go ahead.
Be sober. Be vigilant.
What does that mean, to be sober and to be vigilant?
That means to, be aware of what's going on around you.
Right. Be clear-minded, you know what I mean? And pay the hell attention,
Right.
Head on the swivel, right? Sober and vigilant. Go ahead.
Because your adversary.
Because who?
Your adversary.
Who?
Your adversary.
Who's our adversary? Read on.
The devil.
And Haman was who?
The devil.
Come on now. Talk to me. Go
As
ahead.
a roaring lion walketh about seeking whom he may devour.
Right. That's what he was trying to do, right? And he's the devil. That's what we call him. The devil the Bible speaks of. So Haman, what verse was you in?
The book of Esther, chapter 7, verse 6.
It says, and Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Right? Finish it out, please.
Then Haman was afraid before the king.
Not afraid. Not afraid. Not afraid. Now you're afraid. You was just happy sitting on your high horse, right? But then his family knew what was going on. His family was like, man, you're going to fall. Yes. If he's related to the Jews, you're going to fall. You're not going to prevail against him. And this is that coming. This is right. That happening right now. She didn't outed him, right? That was his little, maybe that was, hold on. Yeah, she didn't know that. He didn't know that she was a Jew. So, but he didn't know that she was secretly working with Mordecai to, make this happen. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 7. And the king arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath went into the.
Hey, imagine that. She found favor above all the women that he had, the young women that he had. It said that she's fair and beautiful, and he held out the scepter to this beautiful woman, right? When anybody else, it would have been off with your head. And he's granted her up to half the kingdom. And she just said that her life was in danger by this man right here. Oh man, he tight. He tight right now. How did he get up? What it said?
Arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath.
In his wrath. Go ahead.
Went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen.
Nah, he trying to beg Esther for his life, right? Go ahead.
For he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
Because he already seen it in his brother, and he's not a brother, so he already seen it in Ahasuerus' eyes. There's about to be some type of slow singing and flower bringing. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on right now. He's seen it. He see the evil in Ahasuerus' eyes. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine. And Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Right. So
imagine Esther sitting on the bed or something, right? Right. And Haman's on the bed too. Right. Just begging, just begging for his life. And he's on the bed too. Now, what is the impression that Ahasuerus gets by him being on the bed with Esther? Go ahead.
Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house?
Like, damn, you gonna try you gonna try to do something in front of me?
I'll try to
You
take
gonna
it.
take it in front of me? In front of the king? That's how mad he is. That don't even make sense. He's not, he's not gonna do that. But the king's so mad, like, God damn, you gonna try to force her in front of me? Oh man. Okay. All right, go ahead.
As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face.
What did they do?
Covered Haman's face.
Hey man, look, as the king saying it, somebody gripping him up. Y'all already know. Y'all know how you know how else they gonna cover his face? This way? No, man, look, they grabbed him. Right. They covering him up. Right? Go ahead.
And Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold also the gallows, 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai.
Right. Now it's being revealed that he made these gallows to unalive Mordecai. Which Mordecai was just given great prestige by the king. Now the king knows who Mordecai is, and that Mordecai was someone who, like I said, foiled the plot to end the king's life. What? All right, watch this. Go ahead.
Who had spoken good for the king.
Right. Mordecai, yeah, let's go.
Standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon.
Oh man, the same gallows that he put up for Mordecai is the same gallows that is going to end his life. Right? Go ahead.
So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai.
Man, get a most higher hand. Salaki, y'all.
Right.
Because these are the stories that we have to read, you know what I mean, for us to be able to learn from them. Remember, Paul said the things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. There's a lot of things that you can learn from out of this story here, right? So where are we at? Chapter 8, right?
We're on. We just got like one more on. A little bit more on 7.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll just read it from the top.
All right.
So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
Okay. All right. So 8. We can read 8. Let's read 8, and then I'm gonna have to skip around 9.
Come out of one come. The book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 1. On that day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman the Jews' enemy unto Esther the queen.
So he gave the whole house, you know, meaning like Haman's possessions, right, to Esther the queen. Go ahead.
And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her.
Right. So now it's being revealed who Mordecai is to Esther.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai.
Remember that same ring when they cast the lots? Remember when he cast the lots against us? Remember the king had gave him the ring. Go ahead. And so the king just took the ring. He took the ring back, and now this is where we at. Go ahead.
And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away his mischief of Haman the Agagite.
Right. So the king took that same ring that he gave Haman. He took it off. He took it back from Haman, took it off his finger, gave it to Mordecai. And then what was that? What verse was that you just read?
This 3? Is verse 3.
3. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite. So now, okay, yeah, Haman is no longer with us on this plane, right? But the decree that he wrote is still out in the different provinces to unalive the Jews, right? Go ahead. Oh, Salaki, and his device that he had devised against the Jews. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Then the king held out his golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king.
Right. So he's holding out the scepter again. Go ahead.
And said, if it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite.
Right. Let reverse the things that he wrote. Right. Reverse the things that he devised. Go ahead.
Which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces.
Right. In all the king's provinces. Remember, he was over 127 of them. That's a lot of provinces.
That's a lot.
So we need to get this letter out. We need to get the word out quick. Do not harm anybody. You know what I mean? Because, you know, if the decree is reversed, it might be reversed in these few provinces hear about it, but these way out there might not hear about it. Right, so we need to act quickly. Go ahead.
Verse 6. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people?
Mm-hmm.
Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen and to Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman,
mm-hmm.
and him they have hanged upon the gallows,
mm-hmm.
because he laid his hands upon the Jews.
Right. All of this happened because he laid his hand upon the Jews. Read on.
Write ye also for the Jews.
Go ahead. Right also for the Jews, right?
As it liketh you, in the king's name.
Yeah, as it liketh you, like, right, whatever the hell you want to. As it liketh you, in the king's name. Go ahead.
And seal it with the king's ring.
Mm-hmm. And seal it, of course, y'all know that's how anything was official back in the day. The king's ring would, he would sign a letter or something. It'd be a piece of wax there. He would sign it like that. Boom. Go ahead.
For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring may no man reverse.
May no man what?
Reverse.
No, may no man reverse. So now, he's the only one that was able to reverse what Haman had put out. So now it's being reversed. And go ahead.
Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that it is the month of Sivan,
mm-hmm.
on the 23rd day thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And it is written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews and to the lieutenants and to the deputies and rulers of the provinces which are from India to Ethiopia, and 127 provinces, unto every province according to the written Salakia, according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language,
mm-hmm.
and to the Jews according to their writing and according to their language.
Right, which shows you that, we spoke different languages,
right,
wherever we was at. So it's not hard to understand. This is just a sidebar, Salakia, y'all. But it's not hard to understand when Paul is going to these different places that we're in these different places speaking different goddamn languages.
Right.
It's not hard to, the Bible is not hard to understand. But anyway, go ahead.
And he wrote in the king, how you pronounce the king's name? Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring. Right.
So he wrote what he wanted to write, and then he sealed it with the king's ring. We're about to read what Mordecai wrote. Go ahead.
And sent letters by posts on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries. Man,
he sent them out on anything that you can ride. What the hell is a dromedary? I heard that before. What's a dromedary? Somebody tell me.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's something. I know. Is it a mule? Is it a mule mixed with a horse? You got. He sent it on horseback, mules, right? I didn't know mules was fast. Mules, camels, and young dromedaries. What is a dromedary?
A mare.
A mare? What's that? A male horse?
That's a horse.
A male horse?
Okay.
A young dromedary, a young horse. All right. Pony. He sent them on ponies. I guess I'm just being funny. So verse 11. Let's find out what Mordecai had in his letter.
Verse 11, wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together.
To do what?
Gather themselves together.
Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired, right? To gather ourselves together and do what?
And to stand for their life.
That's what the hell we do when we get together.
Right.
We get together. That's what the Lord is prescribing black people right now for us to get together. What are we going to do when we get together, y'all? We're going to get together, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, I apologize for stepping on your goddamn shoes, man. And then we figure out our beef, because that's all it is with black people. We got like stupid little beefs from, you know. So get ourselves together and goddamn apologize to one another, and then now we can come up with our solutions for how we're going to move forward. But once we come together, this is what we're able to do. We're able to stand for our life. As of right now, we're a prey to every nation.
Right.
We're a prey to every nation, right? But if we gather ourselves together, we can do what?
Stand for our lives.
Stand for your life, right? Go ahead.
To destroy.
To do what?
To destroy.
We stand for our life. We gather ourselves together, then we able to stand for our lives and do what?
To destroy.
And what else?
To slay.
And what else?
And to cause to perish.
That's what we can do. Instead of us being destroyed, us being slayed, and us being caused to, us perishing, we can cause that to happen to everybody, our enemies. Go ahead.
All the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Right. Anybody. You got a problem? Hey, you this big? Hey, you look like you about to do something? Hey. I got permission. What? Man, look, it's for my nation. Hey, I'll have to take your head off too.
What they call that, the can man. Anybody can get it.
Hey, anybody get it. Well, look, it just said it. Look, hold on. I know I just seen that, though. It said both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. That's what it says. And why is that so heavy? Because the other nations never gave a damn about you or your kids.
Right.
Or David even said it. I think that was David. He said, happy shall I be. Happy shall we be when we get to take your baby's heads and dash them against the damn trees.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Or stone. Oh, man, you get me right. Yeah. Dash your baby's heads against the stones. That's even worse. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's even worse. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Upon one day in all the provinces of the king, Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar. Verse 13. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people.
Published to all people. Read on.
And that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies.
That you should be ready on that day to avenge yourself, man. Not sit there and just wait for somebody to come and save you. That's all we ever do is just wait for somebody else to save us. We wait for somebody else's cavalry to come in and help us and save us.
Right.
When we can do it on our own. Right. But we don't. It's hard for us to do it on our own when we have so many other people who won't come to, it's hard for black people to come together. We have so many factions and other things that we believe in. We come together with whatever we believe in. If Islam is my thing, then I'm going to come together with the Muslims. If, Pan-Africanism, we all come together and we just split up all over the place. What verse was you at?
We're at verse 14 now.
Verse 14.
So the posts that were rode upon mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment. And the decree was given at Shushan, the palace.
Verse 15.
And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel.
Now, what is Mordecai coming out with?
Royal apparel.
Royal apparel. Go ahead.
Of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad.
Right, they like him, nigga. Yeah. Hey, I just used to see him at the gate.
Right.
I used to see him walking back and forth at the gate. Now he coming out with the royal apparel.
Right.
You got it.
The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor.
As they should. Go ahead.
And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
Right. So you had some conversion going on.
Mm-hmm.
You for sure had some conversion going on. Verse 9. I mean, chapter 9. Salakia.
Khan, the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 1. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them.
Yeah, in the day that they hope to have power over us. Yeah, let's go.
Though it was turned to the contrary.
But it was what?
Turned to the contrary.
Turned to the contrary. Go ahead.
That the Jews had rule over them that hated them.
Right. Ain't that what the scripture say?
Damn right.
Scripture say that we'll rule over the people that hate us, or rule over the people that once ruled over us. Go ahead.
Verse 2. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus.
Right, and this is what we're about to read. What can happen when we do gather ourselves together? You know, when we have brotherhood, when we have sisterhood, when we gather ourselves together and we have those numbers, when we have that strength. Matter of fact, it ain't even got nothing to do with numbers.
Right.
Let me not even say that. It ain't got nothing to do with numbers. Our strength comes in our brotherhood. We could have 5 niggas sitting right here and make 10,000 people run.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead.
To lay hand on such as sought their hurt.
Could you read that from the top?
Khan. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt. And no man could withstand them.
No man could withstand them. Go ahead.
For the fear of them fell upon all people.
Right. Imagine the fear that would fall on people today if black people had unity. We only seem like the weakest people on earth because the Lord ain't with us.
Right.
But we got tons of people that's his size, my size, short, tall, you know, come on, man.
Right.
There's no way that these, you know, when you sit back and you look at the control that these other nations have on us, it's got to be because the Lord ain't with us. There's no way we got, you know, a whole bunch of LeBron Jameses, you know, and, you know, men like that. And, you know, Edomites is able to control us. Come on. Before I go down a rabbit hole. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And all the rulers of the provinces and the lieutenants and the deputies and officers of the king helped the Jews.
Right. Everybody, right? Because, you know, when the Lord is on our side, you know, you don't know how we'll prevail, but he'll make other people fight for you too. Go ahead.
Because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. Verse 4. For Mordecai was great in the king's house.
He was what?
Great in the king's house.
That's how Wichicom was too. Joseph. Remember Joseph in when he was with Pharaoh. He was great in the house of Pharaoh. Number 2. Right? Go ahead.
And his fame went out throughout all the provinces, for this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Verse 5. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword.
Oh, what did we do?
Smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
If I could, so this just makes me want that for black people in this day when the cops pull us over and do all that wicked stuff to us. Because we have a fear when the cops get behind us. Even in here, we don't do nothing wrong. But as soon as the cops get behind me, I immediately get a little irritated and a little like anxious to get them from behind me. I don't got nothing going on.
I feel you. It's just a natural anxiety that black people have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Of the police.
And imagine if we were allowed to defend ourselves when the police were doing stuff to us like they always do, like we see on the news and we read about and see on social media.
I think I seen something where the dude like take your badge off, and cop took his badge off.
Yeah, and he whooped him. He was like, don't even arrest him. He was like, yeah, don't even arrest him. Yeah, the Lord wasn't with him.
Lord wasn't with you this night. Hey, you got your ass whooped.
Yeah, like on the side of the house, like boop, 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 boop.
Oh man.
And the cop was like, yeah, don't even arrest him.
Yeah, no, you got your behind with, man. That's enough right there, man. Oh man. Go ahead.
For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. And in Shushan the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men.
Right, and then it names some names, right? And then go down to 10.
Verse 10, the 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they.
Right, so they even got him. Remember he was bragging about his riches. He was to his wife, remember, and his friends. He was bragging about his riches. He was bragging about his promotion. But another thing he bragged about was his sons,
right?
His children, and those 10 sons slain too. Right. Get out of here. On that day, the number. Hold on, where were you at? Verse 10.
At verse 10. Sir.
Okay, go ahead.
The 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews.
The what? The what of the Jews?
Enemy of the Jews. Slew they. But on the spoil laid they not their hand. On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king. And the king said unto Esther the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman. 500
men in Shushan the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman. Right, go ahead.
What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces?
Like, damn, what have they done in everywhere else? I mean, they got 500 here and his sons. What have they done in the rest of the provinces? Go ahead.
Now, what is thy petition?
Now what you got to ask for us?
And it shall be granted thee. Or what is thy request further? And it shall be done.
And so it's like nothing that she asked for would be enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? She has so much favor in his sight that he continuously asks her, what is her petition? What is her request? Go ahead.
Then Esther said, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according to this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. And the king commanded it to be done. And the decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons.
That's how his sons went out of here. They was hanged like their father.
For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan.
Oh, man, they on the roll right now. They on the roll right now. Go ahead.
But on the prey they laid not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives.
Right, they fighting for their life. They stood for their lives, man. Go ahead.
And had rest from their enemies.
And had what?
Rest.
That's what it's all about. Having rest from the enemy, man. That's what we fighting for right now. Rest from the goddamn enemy. We don't get no rest. Right? The only time, when do we rest? When you 6 feet under. Right. That's when you get some damn rest from the enemy. But we need it now. We need rest right now. We shouldn't have to die to get some rest from the oppressor. We should be able to rest now. Go ahead.
And stood for their lives, and had rest from their enemies, and slew of their foes 75,000.
70 and what?
5,000. But they laid not their hands on the prey.
Right. So they was slaying the people, but not touching this, taking the spoils. Go ahead.
On the 13th day of the month Adar,
What is going on?
and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
Made it a day of what?
Feasting and gladness.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same day rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore, the Jews of the villages that dwelt in unwallowed towns, in unwalled towns, made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness.
Right, showing you how this day came about. Everybody's starting to celebrate it. Go ahead.
Made the 14th day of the month of Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another. So that what it's like, sir. What's that mean? They were like I made some food, you made some food. They passing it.
Yeah,
that's tough.
You know how we do now.
Yeah. Verse 20.
I appreciate that, brother.
And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far.
Right, both near and far. Go ahead. To
establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same year.
Right. So just these 2 days of Purim, we have every day. These 2 days yearly, right? Every year. Go ahead. 14th and 15th day of the month. Go ahead.
Khan Adawan Salakia. See, where was I?
Verse 22.
As the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy.
From sorrow to joy, man. Go ahead.
And from mourning into a good day.
There we go. Go ahead.
That they should make the days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor.
Most High in Christ, man. And in our celebration, we're giving gifts to the poor. We're feeding each other, sending food to each other and things of that nature. That's how things should be. You know what I mean? That's how Israel, that's what the Lord always wanted for Israel, for us to be in this spirit right here. Verse 23.
Verse 23. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them.
So now they're going to execute what Mordecai wrote in those letters. Go ahead.
Because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast Pur, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them.
Right. Pur is the lot to destroy and consume the Jews. Right. When it says Purim, that im is remember that's Yiddish. So the im in their language, the way they write it, the im is the plural. It's like yom. You know how we say akyum, ym. The yum means is the plural. You know what I mean?
Per yum.
Yeah. So it's power yum. I think it's three letters. Somebody can look that up. But I think Purim is like per is like pawar and then yum. Pawar yum. But that's just saying that it was a lot that was cast to destroy us, and Purim is the lots, multiple lots. That's right. All. Multiple lots. You got it.
Verse 25. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his son should be hanged on the gallows.
Right. Just reiterating what happened, right? Him and his 10 sons were hanged on the gallows. You was looking up that word. It's 3 letters, ain't it? For per.
Concert.
Per is Pawar. I think it's Pawar. I looked at that. I can't remember what year I looked at that, but let me see your phone. Yeah, Pawar. Pawar. So it's Pawar. Purim in Hebrew. Purim in Hebrew is Pawar.
Verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore they call these days Purim, after the name of Pur.
Right. This is so it explains to you what Pur is and what Purim is, right? Wherein they were wherein or Salakia, wherefore they called these days Purim after the name of Pur. Go ahead.
Therefore, for all the words of this letter, and of what, or Salakia, of that which they had seen concerning this matter,
Mm-hmm.
and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them,
Mm-hmm.
so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writings and according to their appointed time every year.
Mm-hmm.
And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation.
Right. And that's what we're doing. We're remembering them and we keeping them even to our generations, right? Even past our generations to when we pass it along to our kids, right? Go ahead.
Every family, every province, and every city,
Mm-hmm.
and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews.
It should not do what?
Not fail from among the Jews.
Right, it shouldn't fail. This is a story that we should read every year. You know what I mean? And continue to read it.
And Salaki, if I could, this is an amazing thing to do because around the world, Black people outside of the ISUPK really in the world aren't really doing this. And this is giving reverence to the Lord for actually saving our lives.
Yeah, you know who doing it though? The oppressor claiming that the oppressor trying to do it. He's claiming that he, you know, that he's the Jew and that this story is about him and all that. But it's not.
Nah, the oppressor putting his finger in people's eye. That's what he.
Oh my gosh, that's what they. Yeah, Salaki. Salaki. Hey, they got the pegging kid over there ready.
Verse 28. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city. And that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
Right, from them kids, right? Go ahead.
Then Esther, the queen and the daughter of Abihail and Mordecai, the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim.
Right, wrote with all authority to confirm that we're going to have these that we're going to celebrate Purim, these 2 feast days, these 2 days every this time of the month or in this month every year. Go ahead.
And he sent the letters unto all the Jews to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus with words of peace and truth to confirm these days of Purim in their times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined them, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed the matters of the fasting and their cry. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book.
Right, it's Purim is confirmed, solidified. Ooh, we still doing it 2,000, 3,000 years later.
Damn right.
Right, go ahead. Chapter 10. And then can I get an apocrypha? I forgot my apocrypha. That's where we're gonna finish out the story of Esther in its apocrypha, right?
Kanadawakan.
You got it. Verse chapter 10.
Chapter 10 of the book of Esther, chapter 10, verse 1. And the king Ahasuerus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and of his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, whereunto the king advanced him. Are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Media?
Right. Everything that all his greatness and everything that he did is written in the chronicles of the Persian. What's that?
Media and Persia.
The Persians and the Medes.
So the Persians and the Medes.
The Persians and the Medes.
For Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace to all his seed.
Right. For Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people. It didn't say seeking the wealth of the Persians and the Medes.
Right.
It says seeking the wealth of his people. He's in captivity, seeking the wealth of his people. Now, it's beyond me how we could be in captivity and black people could seek the wealth of everybody the hell else,
Right.
but the wealth of your own damn people. It's crazy.
Page 55.
Seeking the wealth of his people and speaking peace to all his seed. I just wanted to make sure I reiterate that. And then we're going to finish up. Oh, here we go. We're going to go Esther, the book of Esther. It's on what you said, page 55, right? It's on 55. It's in the Apocrypha. You can still Google it to get there if you don't, have an Apocrypha. But we're going to do Esther chapter 10 and verse 4. And remember, okay, so when you read it out of this book right here, it's still Mordecai, but the name is going to say Mardocius, Mardocus, because it's written in Greek, right? It's written in Greek. It was translated into the Greek for this portion right here.
So it's wild if I just say Mordecai.
Yeah, no, say Mordecai. Yeah, but I don't know who the hell Mardukis is.
God, I don't want kind. The rest of the chapters of the book of Esther. Then Mordecai, Salakia, verse 4.
Yeah, that's verse 4. So it's 10 and 4.
Then Mordecai said, God hath done these things, for I remember a dream which I saw concerning these matters, and nothing thereof hath failed.
Right. He said he had a dream of everything that was going to happen, and nothing in this dream failed. Right. Go ahead.
A little fountain became a river, and there was light, and the sun and much water. This river is Esther, whom the king married and made queen. And the two dragons are I and Ammon, or Haman.
You got
Haman.
it.
And the nations were those that were assembled to destroy the name of the Jews.
And verse 8, what was it? What did that say?
And the nations were
and the
those,
what?
And the nations.
And the what?
Nation.
So it was multiple. Remember, he was over 127 provinces.
Right.
It wasn't just all Persians and Medes. It was nations of people.
Right.
That Haman's decree went out to that was going to try to destroy us.
Right.
Go ahead.
Were those that were assembled to destroy the name of the Jews. And my nation is this Israel.
And if I may add one thing real quick, it says, and the nations were those that were assembled to destroy the name of the Jews. Somebody give me a precept. What's a precept? You ain't got to pull it. Just precept for that. Destroy the name. I started hearing, almost. Psalms 83 and 5.
Be no more.
Yeah, where they conspired for the name of Israel to be no more. And that's what Psalms 83 and 5, right? Psalms 83 and 5. It says, and the nations were those that were assembled to destroy the name of the Jews. That's what these people want to do. Hey, look, so much so we walking around, we calling ourselves black. The damn Moors. Crayon box, Moors. Some niggas think they Christian is a nationality. You say, what's your nationality? I'm a Christian, brother. Yeah, okay.
That psalm said that the name of Israel shall be no more
in remembrance, and no more in remembrance, right? So if that's literally they try to bury us, man, and try to we the only people on earth that don't even know who we are.
Right.
There's plenty of people who went through slavery, but their name never was taken from them.
Right.
Right. We're the only ones that ever went through slavery. Because they'll try to say, So when you talk about your slavery, they'll say, well, you know, slavery is not new. Slavery was something that other people like that happened throughout time. People enslaved people. Yeah, but the thing is, they never took their name away from them. They never took their name away from them, and they never took their God away from them. That did happen with us. All right, you got it.
Khan. And my nation is Israel.
My nation is who?
Israel.
My nation is who?
Israel.
My nation is who?
Israel.
You got it.
Which cried to God and were saved.
Now, how do we get saved?
Going to
cry to God. It's right there. It's right there. You ain't got to think about it. It's right there. It's right there. My people cried to God and were saved. Why are we not saved now?
Right.
Because we believe our God is goddamn a rock. We believe our God is, Gad. We went through these gods already before. We don't understand the power of our God. Damn it. Go ahead.
God and were saved, for the Lord have saved his people, and the Lord have delivered us from all those evils.
Mm-hmm.
And God hath wrought signs and great wonders, which have not been done among the Gentiles.
You got it.
Therefore hath he made 2 lots, one for the people of God.
Now look, the Lord got some lots too. He only got 2. Lord only need 2. One for who?
For the people of God.
And who else?
And another for all the Gentiles.
And everybody else. You got one for us and one for everybody else. Go ahead.
And these 2 lots came at the hour and time and day of judgment before God among all nations. So God remembered his people.
God remembered who?
His people.
His people. God didn't remember everybody. He remembered his people, and those people specifically were the Israelites.
Right.
Go ahead.
And justified his inheritance. Therefore, those days shall be unto them in the month Adar, the 14th and 15th day of the same month, with an assembly and joy, and with gladness before God, according to the generations, forever among his people.
Right, and that's what we having right now, this assembly, and I'm joyful and I'm glad to see y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know how it go. You know, when we get in these classrooms together, the Lord is happy too. Right. The scriptures say in Psalms 133, I think it's 1. It say how happy and how great it is. Can somebody get that for me real quick? And
what happy shall he be?
Is that it? That's what it is.
Yeah,
Psalms 133. Happens when we grab go together. Yeah, give me the unity, John. Give me that, and then we getting out of here. The PlayStation must be hooked up back there. I don't hear a kid.
The book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
Right, y'all. If y'all don't remember another scripture, man, remember this scripture. You know how great. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is. It's pleasant and it's good when we are able to get together, because sometimes we can get together and it could be unpleasant. it can be unpleasant. It could be an unpleasant and bad situation. Right. But y'all brothers been taught brotherhood. So when we get together, it's a whole different thing than, like brothers in the world. Right. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord is happy with it. It's great and it's pleasant when we get to dwell together in unity. All right, and so with that being said, I'm gonna pass the class over to Precinct Officer Matazi Allen. Hey, Kohart, can you turn the camera, bro? Water.
All right, ISUPK security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, a teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister is interested in a particular person, they are to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in Hebrew, ma'ashra, That's 10% of any penny of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you.
Mm-hmm.
Priest funds, free will offering for a priest. It's not mandatory. It's whatever month you like to donate, or like the officer did today, he brought some libations.
Who that? Michael Ward? Yeah.
You take those also. All right. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the Passover next month, April 5th, April 12th.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll be in Atlanta, Georgia. Finalize all your plans now. Get everything paid for, out the way. Pay your Passover fees. That's in the chat. The link for that is in the chat. Also, make sure you pay your Passover fees. All right. Also, when we come back from the Passover, we will be in the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you prepare your homes appropriately for that. Make sure there's no leaven in your house. We are not to eat anything to have leaven in it for 7 days. All right, that's the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You cannot have any. Get them cookies and stuff out your house.
Right. If you're unsure, you can definitely Google it, or you can call this brother, call me, call Uncle Hall, call any one of us, and we'll be able to tell you what you can and cannot have in your house.
Right. All right. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. With that being said, men of Israel, Amijah, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Amijah Shabbat, Amijah, Barak. What we said was, Most High God, bless,
Lord, in the name of Christ.
Lord, in the name of Yahweh Shai, Jesus, whom the world even calls Jesus Christ, bless you.
Mm-hmm.
Yazmatah, which means hands down. Sar, which means to turn. We're going to do the sister curse and salute sisters. Amijah, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Amijah Shabbat, Amijah, Barak.
Yahweh Shamar Hashem Yahushua.
And what we said was the Most High God, in the name of Jesus Christ, watch over you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yazmatah, which means hands down. Dismissed.
And you hear the youngest back there, they sounded kind of strong back there, ain't they?